My pleasure to introduce our two presenters for this session, Sarah Janosic and Whitney Peterbor. Um, they are both GA colleagues of mine here at Utah State University, so I have the pleasure to work with them each and every day. And their session today is going to be about personal branding. And so with that, I would like to remind everyone to keep your mics muted unless you are speaking or currently answering a question, or and also to turn on your cameras if you want to engage with the presenters and their presentation. With that being said, I will turn it over to Sarah and Whitney for their presentation.
Awesome, thanks, Adam.
Such a good introducer.
All right, we're just sharing our screen real quick. Adam, if you don't mind throwing that PDF in the chat now that we're starting, that would be awesome. So this is our presentation for personal branding to grow your client base. It's kind of tailored to student staff in the fitness industry for campus rec departments. It's kind of where it was formulated. But throughout the presentation, we're going to try to touch on how outdoor programs people could use it, facilities, just any student that kind of wants to branch out and try to get their hand in the pot for social media. So like Adam said, I'm Sarah Janosic. I am the marketing graduate assistant for campus rec here at Utah State. I did my undergrad at University of West Florida.
And my name is Whitney Peterberg. I'm a certified personal trainer, and also I help with group fitness as well. And I work at Utah State as a fitness and wellness graduate assistant. And I'm really excited to do this presentation with all of you. Sarah presented this to our personal trainers and group fitness instructors at the beginning of the school year. And I felt like it was very beneficial. And like she said, all of you guys have services, and I wish we could get to know all of you individually, but all of you guys have services or something that you want to promote to students or the community. And we hope that this branding will help you be able to know how you can present those services better on social media. So why are we doing this? Well, I think this is pretty clear that right now we're kind of entering more of a virtual world. The COVID-19 pandemic has really forced us to try to come up with different ways that we can communicate and connect with our students, staff, or future participants. So we really want to make sure that we can use our social media and including our website to make it very accessible to people and be able to continue with that connection with them as well. I know, like us, for a personal trainer, it's been getting really hard to get clients and things like that. And so to be able to use social media to help get that client base has been able to help a lot of personal trainers. So at Campus Recreation, of course, we want to help all of our student staff prepare for whatever career or industry they go into. I'm sure you guys are all the same in the NERSA world, that we want to be able to encourage that professional development. So if we can teach them these skills about how to use social media in a professional way, this can really help them set them up for success. Over here on the right is kind of an example of how we are using our website to kind of reach out and become more personable to our staff and students and future participants and clients. So the first point is we want to make sure that we are personable to new or nervous participants. The fitness industry can sometimes be very intimidating, and I think that can be said about other places as well. We want to make sure that if they can see a face, that can help them relax a little bit more. So you can see, this is an example of our future website, how we want to have like the schedule, the description of the classes, so they know exactly what they're going into, which can kind of help relieve some of their nervousness as well and anxiety. And then also a fun little picture of like the instructor, their name, maybe a short little bio, or even a link to their own Instagram or Facebook or whatever, so that they can get to know them as well. So, and again, our second point is we want to make sure that we're setting our people up for success. And also we have those transferable skills that we can help them. I'm trying to see if there was anything else, but this has just been so important to be able to share with our personal trainers. The ones that seem to have the most clients are the ones that are using social media platforms. I know, for example, one of our fitness instructors, she had an event that she wanted to do. We tried to promote it to the best of our ability, but because of our limited audience in the building, when she was able to put it on her own social media, it was a huge hit. And I think that's something that we can encourage all of our students, staff to do is really try to promote things in that more personable way.
I also want to hit on this example of kind of showcasing the instructor for the class. This theme could also be used for trip leaders. So again, helping the new and nervous participants kind of know who they're about to spend a weekend trip away with could definitely help in that aspect as well. All right, so now we're going to kind of dive into what a brand is. And we were kind of talking a little bit before the presentation started about how funny it is to compare like yourself as a brand, because everyone always thinks of it as a product or a business. So the first definition up there is exactly that. So it's made up of what your brand says, your values, how you communicate your product, what people feel when they interact with it, and the personality of your business and promise to customers. So obviously, you're not a business, you're not a product, you are a person and a brand. So, the second definition is what we really want to touch on, and it's a personal brand. So, a personal brand is widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of an individual based on their experience, expertise, competencies, actions, and achievements within their given industry and community. So, again, we're going to focus on these highlighted terms and how they can be kind of brought into the fitness industry. So real quick, if you guys want to click on the PDF that is in the chat.
If you don't see it, let us know. We can try to resend it as well. But that worksheet, it says like the branding worksheet on it. And it has 3 questions that we kind of want to specify. And if you can't find the worksheet, we can also read the questions to you as well. But the first question is brainstorm some experiences your client could relate to. So we want you to take this worksheet and imagine it's to your department that you're working in, the services that you're trying to promote, or you can even imagine if you're like a group fitness instructor or personal trainer, like what do you want to promote for yourself? So imagine this worksheet is either for trying to brand yourself or brand the department or services that you have. So the first one is brainstorm some experiences your client could relate to. So this is something that like kind of like a story. So what brought you into that department? Why are you passionate about outdoor programs? Why do you like personal training or fitness classes? How did you start out? What brought you there? So like telling those stories, people love to hear stories and they like to hear passion as well. And so if you can share that with them, that can really help people relate to you even more. So this could be, some examples could be like maybe you trained for a marathon and then you realized you really liked running and strength training or something like that. Or maybe you really like yoga and it became more of a hobby and then a career. So, and then also the second one is what is your area of expertise and what would you like to improve? So area of expertise could be like, what are you really passionate about? Like, what do you really like to help people with? Maybe if you really like rock climbing and you're really good at a certain type of climbing, specify that. Let them know, like, hey, I really like this kind of thing. This is why I'm into it. Something like that. Also, what achievements have you accomplished that would be beneficial to your clients? This could be something like how many clients you've trained, how many people you've helped, how long you've been in the industry, maybe some successes that you've seen in your journey, or it can be certifications like NASM, ACE, or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and take a couple minutes. Sarah's going to set a timer. So if you can't find the worksheet, go ahead and look at those questions and just take a couple minutes and write down some things that you want to specify in your department or for yourself.
The PDF was dropped in the chat and I will put it in there again.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. If you need more time, let me know. Also, if anybody would like to share, if you want to think about sharing when time is up, that would be awesome.
I can finish up while somebody's sharing.
All right, does anybody want to share what they have for the first 3 questions? I know these are kind of personal, so don't feel like you need to, but we'd love to hear from somebody.
Or even if one person would be willing to share like one of the things.
Awesome. So we have some in the chat talking about definitely not a power lifter. See, that's awesome though, because running could kind of tie into that, and you could reach out to other people and kind of see where your weaknesses are and compare strengths and weaknesses.
And that can help you target your audience a little bit more too. So you can specify like exactly who you're willing to help and your specialties, like your expertise. That's awesome. Thank you, Cody.
Yeah, I'm trying not to take over. I'm not a student. I'm in here faking it. But I think that most people, like whatever your thing is, whatever they're into, most people did a high school or a middle school sport. And I think that that's a pretty quick way to build some common ground. Like, hey, what are you into? I did volleyball in high school, whatever. Then like talk about it, be all about it. And I think people like to talk about themselves then, and then it just kind of starts going smoothly from there.
And then they see that you've done 5 marathons and they're like, wow, this Cody's legit. Awesome. Thank you very much. So that's a quick little example. I like that.
Anybody else before we move on? There'll be more opportunities to share. Don't worry. All right, we can keep going.
So the next one is brand identity. I remember like when I first heard like branding, I'll admit my husband's more of like an outdoors guy and we'll go branding calves. And so that's what I think of when I hear branding, but it's really like what sets you apart from everybody else. There's a lot of things going on in social media. So how are you going to stand out? How are you going to put yourself out there? So these are just some basic things that help tie into that brand identity or how to make you stand out. There's things like behavior, language, and communication and culture that kind of help tell a little bit about yourself. And then there's of course like vision and mission that kind of state your purpose and your goals that can show your passion really well. But then we also have to take into account design and logo. We want this to be professional, but we also want this to be like your own. So how are we going to make sure that the message that you want to share is being put across in the way that you attend? So we're going to kind of go a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the first 2 that we're going to talk about are vision and mission. So on the left side of the slide, I kind of pulled the mission statement and the values from our campus rec department. Because like we said, we like to compare ourselves to a company and kind of see how that transition works. So Canvas Rec creates opportunities for students to enhance the college experience through play, wellness, adventures. And then our values are play, wellness, and adventure. And we recently added community and service. So those are what our Campus Rec kind of bases everything on. I'm sure all of y'all's are very similar. But we kind of want you guys to think deeper and think about yourself and create a personal mission statement. So I did this in a couple workshops like years ago, and it was like really personal. It got like very deep very quickly. So I think it's really important to kind of come up with this, and so you can kind of tie it back to every day in your life and like what your goals are and how you want to grow. So on the right, that's my personal mission statement. It's to experience and explore beyond my limits professionally and personally. And then my values are to explore the environment and enrich. So everything that I try to do ties back to those. So I'm from Florida. I moved all the way across the country to Utah. That was definitely pushing my limits personally because that's kind of terrifying, but also professionally, getting into a GA position and enriching myself by getting a master's degree. So everything I do kind of ties back to that. And we'd love for you guys to take a couple minutes to come up with your personal mission statement and some values. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect. It takes a long time to kind of curate that. But if you just want to jot down some things that might tie into your mission statement one day, that would be awesome. And then additionally, how can you use your mission and your values and tie it back to your clients online and in person? So we might do 3 to 4 minutes this time. I think 5 minutes was a little long, but we'll give you guys that time to do that. It's the next 3 questions on that worksheet. And then if somebody is brave enough to share, we'll do that as well.
And if you don't finish in the 3 minutes, don't worry. You can keep this worksheet and finish it later. But like she said, if you just want to jot down like just kind of a rough draft, what do you want your mission statement and your values? And then if we could have at least one person share.
Awesome. So Adrian put her values. That looks awesome. I love how you did the same, what is that called? The same letter alliteration? Is that,
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely just, so I have my personal training certification and my group fitness certification, and I'm TRX certified. And like 3 things that I've always just, if you don't have a support system behind you, it makes it really hard to, get that fitness in. If you don't have faith in yourself and succeeding in those goals. And then also like, not everybody loves running and chocolate milk, but, you got to find what works for you and what makes you happy and what makes you feel like you're going to succeed and hit those goals. So finding those 3 things for me is just like really important.
I love those. And I feel like those ones are values that a lot of people can relate to as well. Thank you for sharing. Cody's just going to get all the marathon runners, and it's okay.
All right, let's take one more minute, and if there's anybody else that wants to share.
People are being so brave to do races right now because I know so many have gotten canceled.
The virtual ones literally test every fiber of your being.
I don't know if I could do it. I'm a runner and I would struggle hardcore unless I had somebody doing it with me.
My husband biked like behind me and handed me water and orange slices for my first half marathon while I just ran circles by myself.
See, now that's a good support system right there.
He says thank you.
Stop this with All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on.
So culture, this one's a really fun one. This is where you really get to show off who you are. So culture marketing is an opportunity to share your whole self and provide transparent, wow, I really can't talk to it, transparency into your brand. So this is like where you make those values that you just mentioned known to people. Where do you work? What do you like to do? Things like that, like what makes you you? And then make sure to be yourself. Maybe some people might think that it's easy just to go to like another Instagram or something like that and kind of copy what they're doing and put it into yours. But then you use that sense of like genuineness, if that's even a word. But just be yourself. And that's really what's going to draw people the most. So don't be afraid to tell your story. What got you into what you're doing? Why are you passionate about it again? People love that passion. So share what you love and then share your successes and your failures. People can be kind of nervous to share failures. Now, I want to be careful when I say failures because this doesn't mean that you share like, oh, you made somebody, I don't know, like fall off an edge while you were rock climbing and then that person got seriously injured. Like you don't want to share like serious failures, but like, for example, maybe like weaknesses that you have, like that Cody shared that he's not a power lifter. You're like, that's okay. That means that Cody's not a perfect person. And you know what? I'm not a perfect person either. So I can easily relate, even in that way. So share your successes. Maybe some stories that you've seen, changes that you've seen in students or clients and people. Fitness can be very intimidating. My parents owned a fitness center since I was like, I don't know, like 5 years old. And we lived in a small town and everybody knew us as being the fitness family. And they would avoid us in the grocery store so that we wouldn't see what was in the grocery cart. And because we were that intimidating. And so let people know like a little bit about yourself. And that's part of the reason why you want to share that weakness is you don't seem like a perfect person that is so intimidating. So make sure to share that personality as well. And take them behind the scenes a little bit. You can show them a picture of like with your family, what you like to do, your favorite food. I feel like as a personal trainer, I get a lot of people that think, oh, they're a personal trainer, they love to work out. They never have a day where it's hard to work out for them. I'm like, yes, I do have days where it's hard to get out of bed and work out. And so by sharing that with other people, people can relate to that as well. So be genuine in what you say. Give yourself more of a story, and we'll kind of go into a little bit of the culture questions. So again, tell your story. What got you into fitness? If it's not fitness, what got you into your program or your services? Why are you passionate about it? Why do you care about it? And then the second one, share your successes and failures, or it could be weaknesses, and then take them behind the scenes. So we had a great example earlier about how Adrian, I hope I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, I apologize. But how she did a half marathon and it was kind of hard because it was virtual. It was a different experience, but how she did it. So, and her husband helped her all along the way. Like that's a good behind the scenes type thing. So we'll just take a couple minutes to answer those questions. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, that's good. Well, yeah, we'll do like 3 or 4 minutes like we did last time, and then share if people would like to. All right, we have like a minute left. Does anybody want to share their culture questions or something from it?
I would love to hear from somebody why they're passionate about what they do.
I'll share again if nobody else wants to. I'm fine with that.
Go for it.
So for me, like I really wish I would have had the family that was really into fitness. Both my parents are overweight, and my mom actually, she's 48 and she's already had one hip replacement and needs the other. So for me, like high school sports, I played 4 sports for 4 years and then went and played college softball and like loved every minute of it. And I didn't have the support from like, I mean, my parents obviously supported me playing sports, but like the support of going into kinesiology and loving that, I didn't have that. And so for me, I wanted to be that support system for other people. So that's what got me kind of passionate into like personal training and group fitness. And definitely like successes and failures. Like, I would 100% agree. It's definitely not easy, even as a trainer, to like get up and exercise, especially in grad school and things. So I think that is very like real. And the more you can share that you like, it's a struggle for you as much as it is for your clients, is really important because they want to see that too. So I think that that's really awesome. Just like sharing those experiences, like that makes a huge difference in building rapport with your clients. And I think that's like, this is awesome. I like that a lot.
Could I share? I'm still technically a student. I I would say for this, like, obviously, it's kind of sometimes hard to try to relate this to competitive sports directly, which is I'm intramural competitive sports. But for like the building your brand thing, it really reminds me of like coaches or like working with the people who administer the teams, because a lot of times, like, I know a lot of coaches that have slogans. Like one of my favorite ones from a coach growing up was "Go be amazing," and that's, you know, every time we left the huddle or we left to go do something, it was "Go be amazing," and that became that coach's brand, and, you know, their slogan, their tagline, and the motivation that they gave became kind of like their brand. And so I guess like what makes me passionate, and from my perspective, is I always say, like, when I see somebody win an intramural championship and I see like their smiling faces and, you know, their embraces, you know, pre-COVID and all that kind of stuff. So just I guess the outcome or like what motivates could be like along those lines, and it can fit into other parts when it comes to building your culture and building your brand. It can stem out in different ways that maybe you don't originally see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adam. Did anybody else want to share why they're passionate about what they're doing? I hope all of you guys have a love and a drive for what you're doing. But if you have one that you want to share, please do.
All right, we'll move on. Thank you to those who shared. That was awesome. We're going to talk about design and logos.
This can be really fun.
Yeah, this is my favorite part. So, you don't have to be a graphic designer to create your own logo. We'll give you guys some resources in a little bit, kind of how to do that. But we wanted to show you some examples first. So, on the left are some successful women in the fitness industry. This is not Whitney, but she does want to steal her
It could be me
tagline.
someday.
Yeah, get fit with WHIT. We love that. And then she has her values as a part of her YouTube banner. So health, fitness, and inspiration. So that's just kind of an example of how she was tying her personal values and mission into her social media platform. And then Amanda, the Instagram account on the bottom, we wanted to show kind of the aesthetic of this account. So obviously you can't see the whole account, but all of her pictures kind of tie into that beachy blue theme, like her profile picture. And then her highlights are also the same color. And she has these cute little icons that all kind of match. And it's just very pleasing to look at. It's an account you want to follow, you want to interact with her. And then her bio has all of her certifications, her experiences, and then a link to her website. So it's all laid out really nice right there with the emojis, just kind of like why you should follow her, why she's credible. And then to the right, again, I tied everything back to our campus rec department. There's our logo, our colors, fonts, and just like our little other icons. So for Instagram, it would be your story icons, any filters you use to make things kind of look uniform and consistent. So we're going to give you guys another few minutes to fill out the last part of the worksheet. And this one's kind of really fun. You can to draw your own logo. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, we're going to share some resources on how you guys can create things like this. But keep in mind color psychology and shape psychology. You can do your own research on that if you'd like. It's fairly interesting. Just some examples, like blue is known to like enhance productivity. Yellow gives you energy. And then for shapes, a square is known to be powerful and strong. And a circle is known for being welcoming, and it symbolizes commitment. So if you want to kind of research that a little bit and take those into consideration, go ahead and come up with a cute little logo and a couple colors that you think you could incorporate into a social media account. All right, does anybody want to share? This one's kind of hard because you drew it, but if you want to show the screen or tell us what colors you chose and maybe why. All right, we'll take like another minute or two. This one's kind of hard, so don't worry if you don't want to share. We'll move on in about 2 minutes. All right, we're actually going to go ahead and move on. Feel free to doodle if you would like to continue.
Communication behaviors and language. This is something else that's also very important. We want to make sure that we're sending the message that is intended. So, of course, communication is very important. I feel like I don't need to stress too much on communication because all of you know that communication is key. We just want to stress 3 other things that are related to communication, and that's trust, humility, and standing out. So trying to communicate these 3 things so you can build that trust. One way that you can build that trust with your future audience or with your current clients, participants, etc., is having like a clear, consistent voice. And also, if you say that you're going to post a workshop or a recipe or a workout video every Tuesday, for example, make sure you do it every Tuesday so that they can see like, okay, this person is serious, and they can continue to build that trust with you. Humility, that kind of relates to how we're talking about showing that you're a real person, that you also have weaknesses that you're trying to overcome so they can relate with you on that. So trying to help convey that humility instead of always coming across as you're the professional and you know what's better, but being able to relate to them. And then stand out. Use your own voice. Try not to, we say like, don't try to talk like robots, but basically we want you to use your own voice. A good example could be like if I wanted to show a video on how to perform a correct bicep curl. I wouldn't say like, hi everybody, my name is Winnie. I'm gonna show you a bicep curl today. Like that, all those things are true, but you can make it more fun. I could be like, hey everybody, this is Whitney again. I'm so excited that you're here to join me to learn about a bicep curl. This is a great exercise. I'm excited to do it with you. So you can tell stories, speak for yourself, that kind of thing. So try not to come across so monotone, I guess you could say. So if they were reading it, they could hear your voice. Also, behaviors. Match the words to the actions. Be consistent. Interact with your audience as much as you can so that you can build that relationship and make connections. Whether it's like following other people so that you can kind of build that connection with them, so then they can hopefully like in return kind of follow you, to things like that, trying to make connections. Replying to comments, message people within the same group, making sure to stay on top of those comments and messages as well. And then being personal and professional. If you're considering making on your Instagram account or Facebook or whatever social media platform you can as your business, or like how you want to reach out to people, make sure that you're also being professional and that everything online stays online. So make sure you take into consideration what you put And it may not be a bad idea to have a separate like Facebook account or a separate Instagram or Twitter or whatever you use, so that you can kind of use that account to the certain target audience that you want. And then you can save that private personal one to post about your crazy Saturday night or something like that. So, and then also kind of going along with language is be wary of cursing, those things that are very private in your personal life, and politics. We don't want to open up a huge can of worms. Just make sure that you stay professional in what you do. So, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Nope, that one's great. We don't have anything on the worksheet for this slide. We're actually done with the worksheet. This is just kind of things.
On the worksheet. You don't have to turn it in.
Yeah, this is just kind of things to keep in mind with that brand identity. So now I'm going to talk about the different social media accounts and kind of what they could be. Try not to get yourself canceled in the chat. Yeah, that's cancel culture is a thing right now. So be wary of doing that. So here's some of the social media accounts that are the most popular and how they could work for the fitness industry. So Instagram, it's the best for quick videos. They have Reels now, which is kind of their take on like a TikTok. It's really good just for still pictures, very aesthetically pleasing format, and day-to-day life on stories. So research actually shows that Instagram stories are like the best way to get your stuff like seen. You can post on your story like 10 times a day, and people, it may be annoying, but it's not as annoying as posting like a post 10 times a day. So if you want to utilize stories, that would be really beneficial. Facebook is really just good for interacting with people. It would be good to connect like a blog post to it or something informational. It's really just a good way to like connect with your audience. Facebook is really big for memes, so you can always share funny things on there. And Facebook has a good software to connect YouTube videos. So YouTube is probably the best option for someone in the fitness industry. However, it is a big commitment. There's a huge learning curve with YouTube, all the equipment you have to get. You could just do it on a cell phone, but eventually you're going to want to upgrade. So there's just a lot more that would go into a YouTube channel. However, it would really be good for workouts, virtual training, just sharing general fitness knowledge, and creating and cooking recipes. And then Twitter, it's also like Facebook. It's kind of just a way to connect with your audience and your clients, just kind of having those like conversations on that platform. However, I do want to give honorable mention to TikTok. It's really popular right now. Our campus rec department has a TikTok actually, and we're doing pretty decent on it. It would be really good for like Zumba instructors or high fitness. But also I was thinking like outdoor programs. TikTok has a lot of those like aesthetically pleasing, like adventure videos. So you could do something like that with OP or like climbing instruction. So TikTok could be good for a lot of different departments. And then also another honorable mention to Pinterest. This would be huge for dietetic students or someone that just wants to be in nutrition. Pinterest is great for recipes. And now we're going to talk about some resources. So the first one, sorry, I have to share a new screen. This is Canva.
Almost Canva.
Not that. This is Canva. It's a free website where you can kind of create anything. I'll go through some examples real quick. You can see Instagram stories, Instagram posts, YouTube channel art. So if you wanted to create a YouTube channel, it's already formatted and you can just switch in your own photos, your own colors, whatever font. So this is where you can really kind of dig into that design and logo we talked about earlier and create things like this. And there's also a logo template. So these are really fun. Again, all these like graphics that you don't have to create. You don't have to be a graphic designer to have these. It's all free and you can customize it however you want. So that's something really cool to keep in mind when you're creating social media platforms. And then some other resources, scheduling platforms. So later.com and monday.com are both free. There is one that you can pay for. It's called Hootsuite. That's more for businesses. That's what we use in our campus rec department. But Later and Monday both really help you kind of prioritize your post. So if you just take a couple hours a day, or not a day, a couple hours a month and schedule all your posts for that month, and then you don't have to worry about it, and you'll know that you'll be consistent and you'll have good quality posts coming out every other day, twice a week, however often that you see fit. Also, if you have a university account or like email, you should get Adobe platforms for free. Another really good one is Adobe Spark. It's similar to Canva. I don't have a walkthrough with that one, but it's very similar and it's really good for Instagram posts as well. And then another thing is setting up your account for business. So on all platforms, it's free. You don't have to prove anything. You just switch it over to business, and then you get to see your analytics. So on the left side, this is kind of like a screen grab example of what Instagram analytics look like. So you can really use this to see when are your followers the most active, who should you be targeting, where are they located, everything like that. And then if you really want to get into it, you can use business accounts and you can put a little bit of money into it and pay for ads.
So Sarah, maybe you can mention like what platforms can be used to set up a business account.
Yeah, so all of them have it right now. So everything except for I think YouTube. YouTube automatically like assumes your business, so you can see analytics. But Twitter has analytics, Facebook, Instagram, and I think TikTok. Pinterest has a business as well. So, and they're all free. It's just you just have to set it up. But,
All right, we have just a little bit of time. I just want to go over a quick example. So this is the Instagram of one of our former personal trainers. I say former because he graduated and had to move on with his life, but he was really fun to be with. This is a day. You can see he has 4,000 followers, so he's doing fairly well. He always had so many clients, and it was crazy because he would have so many clients, and then another personal trainer that was doing fairly well, or like that was a credible certified personal trainer, didn't have as many, but he could say that part of his success was due because of his social media account. So this is like some things you can see. He's kind of showing off his personality a little bit in some of these posts, these pictures, that he has fun with his clients. He puts quotes that all have like the same background, same style. You can see a little bit of his personal life. There's him and his girlfriend. See, he's so cute. He's a normal person, and just like how much fun he has with his clients too. You can kind of see that. And then he's been very good about like posting like little videos and quotes and little things like that. On the top, you can see stories of other clients under transformational, other things that he wanted to include. So this is just like an example from somebody in our department. And so you can kind of, obviously you don't have to copy somebody else's, make sure to make it your own. But it doesn't hurt to kind of look around at some other examples to kind of see what your style is. Like, oh yeah, I really like this, but maybe change it up like that. So all of you should have access to this PowerPoint. If not, you can contact us. But we're not going to go through all of them today, but feel free to look at them on your own time as well. And then, do any of you guys have any questions for us? For me as a personal trainer fitness instructor, or for Sarah, who's our awesome marketing person. She has people, like she told me that she has some of our personal trainers and fitness instructors come to her sometimes weekly to have her help them with their posts or things like that. So she's a great resource if you guys have any questions.
I would love to get this PowerPoint, and I don't know how to get it. So is there an email for one of you guys that I could write down to email you to get this PowerPoint?
We'll put our emails in the chat real quick.
That would be great.
just to pick your brain a little bit, in terms of like when you're posting things on Instagram, right? Let's say, for example, you have events or things that are coming up. How would you say, like, what's the best amount of posts to kind of put out roughly to kind of garner more attention to an event? And like how much in advance should we start posting about things?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's really good. I'll take that. So what we typically do is post 2 weeks out, 1 week out, and sometime within that week, either like the day before or a few days before. But I do really want to stress like the benefit of Instagram stories, because like Whitney said, a lot of her personal trainers and group fitness instructors come to me when they're doing like a certain theme for their class, and they'll be posting it on their stories or their accounts as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then on our campus rec page, we reshare it to our story. So having multiple people promoting one event really helps, and then you can all cross share and cross reference, and then that obviously gets exposure to the event, but it also gets exposure to getting our trainers more followers, getting our campus rec account more followers. So you can't really go wrong with posting too much on the stories, but that's kind of our general guideline for events on our campus rec account, at least.
Okay, and then so like let's say, for example, if I post it as just a general post, right? And then I can post it into the story as well. And then would you suggest like, tagging people in the story would help with getting that awareness and like having other people spread it out a little bit more as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sharing the post as well from a certain account, when you share it on Instagram and then somebody else shares it, if you click like the image, it'll bring you back to that original post where you can add more information. So tagging anyone that would be interested in the event, anyone that would be a good resource to share it. Yeah, so like your student activities board, for example, if you wanted to tag them, or like your campus's main account, like they may not share it, but they might, and then there's more recognition there. So
okay, all right, cool. Oh, and then I'll show you my logo, because I did end up drawing one.
Awesome.
It might be a little bit tiny though, so it's like where's
that's cool.
Cool.
You even
that
colored
one. I like
it.
that one better.
Look at that. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are your colors? Did I say like sea green?
Yeah, so I've got a mix of 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4. Yeah. So I've got like a light blue. They're all like kind of muted colors in a sense. So I've got light green, light blue, a yellow, a pink, and an orange in there. And then it just kind of, because they're muted, they're highlighters, but they're muted in a sense to kind of not have super bold and super strong colors there. And then, the black outline kind of is the bold aspect of it.
I like that.
Love that.
Sometimes those softer colors are a little bit more inviting.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We only have a few more seconds. Does anybody want to have any last minute questions or comments?
And hopefully it can be answered in a few seconds. Thanks for this wonderful presentation. And how do you suggest negotiating like disclaimers, so whether it's YouTube or on Instagram, like informational versus instructional, and how do you like just kind of give a broad disclaimer to folks?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we're actually doing on our YouTube channel, we've been doing a lot of videos with our athletic trainer in our building. So we've been working with that a lot. And it's really just kind of repeating yourself and making it known that, so for her specifically, I'll give this as an example. She's like, even though these are common like practices to stretch an injury, make sure to get everything checked out by a doctor. And she repeats it like a lot of times, and then putting that in text as well. So in the comment section or in like the description box, just kind of clarifying that, and making sure it is more of a informative and not just kind of being clear about your intentions. Like, this is here to help you, but it's not a make or break situation. I think we protect ourselves really well with the personal trainers. All of ours are certified, so they at least have that to back up any of their claims. But yeah, I think just being straightforward with your intentions, and if it is something very sensitive, I would consult your campus's like legal department.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes I feel like it could be just even a simple sentence. Like, make sure to consult your doctor or somebody if you're ever starting a new exercise program or something like that. So it could be like a very simple phrase so that, and yeah, they're probably not going to see their doctor, but at least they know that you are not the one that's taking the place of their doctor, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yes.
So,
I don't know if you have time for one last question.
Adam, are we good?
This is the last session today, so go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of, so I'm a placement student for Centennial College in Canada. So within my placement, I do a lot of like marketing help. And so there are times when like we'll do like Instagram lives and it goes on IGTV and then the sound gets cut off. Is there a way to like kind of go about having the video still playing, even though the sound, like having the video be shared, even though the sound is not there for it in a sense?
Have you guys been doing Instagram lives for the fitness?
We have done Instagram lives. I don't know if we've had that problem before.
It's usually the music is the issue. So Iowa State
Yeah.
had that same problem. So if there's any way for you to like cut the music out instead and just have it be your voices, they take the sound away because of the music and the rights to the music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're doing like a is it like a fitness class that you're normally doing?
Because it's like Zumba classes, and then so because of the music playing in the background, I guess the copyright issue happened, and then so whenever like on our end and the back end, when we look at the video, it would be like, oh, like it's not allowed in so and so countries, and then because of that, it's not even allowed to be published on our like Instagram at all.
That's a tough one. I would suggest so YouTube, if you go live on YouTube, I think that is a way around that because YouTube has their own playlist and they buy the rights to certain songs. You'd have to use, the songs that YouTube allows. So you may be, shortening your playlist and not getting maybe the ideal playlist, but I think that could be a way around it. Yeah, unfortunately, like with music, you either have to dish out the money to purchase whatever songs you want to play.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have a comment?
We have one in the chat.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I want to thank Sarah and Whitney again for putting this on and allowing us to learn a little bit about marketing and fitness and expanding our knowledge on the subjects. Thank you all for attending this session and hopefully all the sessions today. And we'll have 2 more tomorrow that we look forward to seeing you all at. Awesome. Have a great afternoon or evening, depending where you are.